Legacy was the last episode that I actually worked on from beginning to end. After the end of that shoot was when I actually left. So I remember this episode very fondly and very well. And it is one of my favorite episodes.
I think Legacy must be one of my favorite episodes, partly because I love that part of the world. I love I love the expanse of desert and then the volume of clothes. I love the reference material that you look at to do with desert clothing and desert tribes and things. So it was a really beautiful episode to make.
Nomads.
We needed, obviously, the desert, and we don't have, other than black sand, anything right around Auckland. So we had to travel the entire company about 2.5 hours north to a coastal area that has these beautiful white sand dunes up north of Auckland, so the northern part of the North Island. And even though we were right next to the ocean, the dunes were such that we could go into a little valley and you would never see the ocean, but it actually gave us the simulation of hundreds and hundreds of miles of desert. We built all our sets there, with the exception of the interiors that we still shot back in Auckland. And then the sandstorm sequences, we actually, which I think we did with incredible flair, were done on a very large soundstage back in Auckland as well. So all of the times where you'd have our characters fighting in the sandstorm, you could never actually blow that much sand around on your actors, you'd kill them. So we created that on a stage with blowing very dark smoke around and using some very clever lens techniques in order to make it appear like it's blowing sand. What are the recurring problems on shooting on location? It's more expensive because you're taking your cast and crew to a place that they don't. So you have to put them up and feed them and give them travel money and things like that. So it's always an expensive undertaking, but you also have to include the travel time in your normal shoot days. You can't say to somebody, hey, just go up on Sunday and get yourself situated and then start. So whenever we would always, on like the Sin Trade episodes and the Debts, whenever we would go to a distant location where we knew we needed that amping up of location, we always knew that was going to be an additional time commitment and an additional expense that we always had to sort of save our pennies for over a season in order to do that. And when everybody is on location, you also technically then have to travel them from there. Whenever, like this location was not right next to the hotel, so even when you're on location, you're 2 hours away from home, you still have to sometimes travel an hour and a half into some of the very remote locations that we had. And this was a situation where I think we had an additional 45 minutes to an hour travel from the hotel into the middle of the sand dune, which we had to have four-wheel drive vehicles to get to because there was not a road that led us right to there. We had to pack everything in, pack everything out as well.
So this is the desert hospitality that I've heard so much about.
That's right. Though the fact they worship us could be influencing the welcome a bit. Don't refuse anything. You'll insult them.
There was a lot of fabric, and there was a lot of quite intricate turban tying that had to happen. It was quite challenging for the girls on set when they had a lot of people on horses and, these turbans that are just great big long lengths of fabric that need to be tied the same way each time. But it's so effective, and when their horses are galloping along and there's billowing fabric behind, it's great. There was a mixture between movement of fabric and then these quite structured costumes that Xena and Gabrielle wore, which was sort of had a bit of a Moroccan feel to them, but they were very intricately hand painted, and there was beading involved as well. The other thing I think I like about that is the colour thing that happens. I mean, there was the white, a bunch of people who were all in white against a desert, and that is just beautiful. Different shades of white, and I like that. I like when you simplify your palette so that it becomes quite subtle, the differences in between different characters. And so there was the white lot, and then there was the red lot, the sort of red and burnt orange bunch as well. So yeah, I like the way that they work together and the intricacy of what we were able to do with them.
Come on, Xena.
Who are you to take that name? Xena, the legendary warrior princess, is long dead.
We did get to bring back Alison Bruce. One of the things I really like about Legacy is all of our supporting cast are New Zealanders. Rawiri Peratini, who's in Whale Rider, is the other Bedouin leader, and so it became a very sort of New Zealand-centric cast, and we love working with Alison. She's terrific, and yeah, we'd use her even more often if she didn't look, you know, if we didn't use her so much already. So yeah, Alison is great, and really did some wonderful swordplay too. We were pleasantly surprised how well she did in the fight sequences.
Here, take my hand. You even know where we're going? Do we ever know where we're going?
The line in the script was Xena and Gabrielle wash off the sand became a hot tub sequence. Well, it is a Renaissance production, and we figured, why not? It definitely was. Sure, it definitely was gratuitous, but we're proud of it, and I think it was a way to if anybody was changing channels in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the show, to go, whoa, what am I watching here? You know, I haven't seen Xena before, but I sure would like to.
A little uncalled for. All right, I'm pruning. I'm out of here.
Our doubles were blurred in some cities, but both Lucy and Renee did a surprisingly ambitious run up to that point. So both of them, like I said, are goers and realize that a little bit of titillation is a good thing occasionally. Did we go too far? You know, it always is good to film something a little bit too far, and then you can pull back, because if you don't go far enough, you can never change the change the situation that way. And I think we were trying to, at this time, to be extreme and to be sexy and to be noticed, and I think it worked. How did we bury Renee in the sand? Just as you think we would. We dug a hole and said, get in the hole, and we filled it up. Renee never minds about these kind of things. I was always very fortunate with Lucy and Renee. We'd say, get in the mud hole, and we're gonna put you down here. And we actually got her out for lunch, so she didn't have to sort of stay there, and we had to feed her through a tube or anything. So it worked out reasonably well. I would imagine it's probably fairly relaxing, because you're sort of supported on all sides. So you sort of had to sit there and go, ooh, don't hit me with a stick.
Did you tell them that?
It was an accident. Let them believe the Romans did it. They have to fight them anyway.
I can't lie about this.
You don't have to lie.
Xena's lie in this about Gabrielle not killing the boy, and then Gabrielle deciding to actually make the decision and do the morally right thing because she doesn't want to see this Roman soldier killed, I think was one of the high points of this show, because it is an interesting conundrum. Xena wants her friend to live, and Gabrielle realizes that she has to take responsibility for her own actions, even if it wasn't what she meant to be.
If he didn't do it, someone just like him did. Come with us, Xena. You're one of us now.
Wait! He isn't the killer. I am.
One of the fun arcs about the whole series is that Gabrielle is and always will take the high road whenever she can. And it's a great conundrum, because if your best friend was going to be murdered, would you lie for them? I probably would. And I think it was a great moral dilemma that we were able to explore in this.
That evens the scales between us.
It doesn't really, does it?
No. He could have become a great warrior, just like you.